Hello from the Disney Fantasy. My name is Kelly from KMB Travel, and today we're going to go around the entire ship so you can get a look at what is on board this beautiful ship. This is part of the Dream class, so this is going to be part of Disney's second largest cruise lines that they have. So we start off with the Magic and Wonder, then we have the Dream and the Fantasy. We're on board the Fantasy, and then you go up to the Wish, Treasure, and the Destiny. So let's take a look. We're gonna start out on deck 2 because deck 1, the only things that you'll have down there is the health center. So if you do need anything while you're on your cruise, that's gonna be where you'll stop by. And that's also going to be where you might be disembarking the ship for certain ports. So they will always make sure that you know that. It's gonna be part of the Navigator app, which is the Disney Cruise Line app, but they'll also make announcements so you know where you need to be getting off at each port. But on deck 2, this is going to be one of the first main dining rooms, Enchanted Garden. And Enchanted Garden really is more themed to like a French garden, and you'll start to kind of see the garden changes throughout your meal. It's going to start blooming. There's some small Disney details to it, but really going to be just one of the main dining room areas. And this, with Disney, they do rotational dining, so that means that you'll be able to eat in each of the main dining areas throughout your cruise, and you'll actually be moving with your wait staff, so they get the chance to learn a lot about you, your preferences, and really make an exceptional dining experience. Something else that's going to be across the ship is something called Midship Detective Agency. So this is a scavenger hunt that involves the Muppets that you can actually do while you're on the ship, and there's going to be a pamphlet that you'll go through, different steps, your suspects that you'll have to look into, and this is a great activity to do for little ones or for adults too, young at heart, if you're on a sea day or just looking for something to do even during a port day. So like I said, we started out on deck 2 at the Enchanted Garden, but if you are ever on a deck and you're not sure where to go, if you head towards the elevator, there will be 3 elevator banks, one at the forward, midship, and aft, and there's going to be this list, a directory that you can look at, plus a map as well of the ship, but you can also use the Navigator app for that too. So we made our way up to deck 3, and over on the forward, this is going to be the Walt Disney Theater. So there are 3 Broadway-style shows that are performed on the Fantasy. They are Aladdin, Frozen, and Believe, which is an original show, and that's going to be over in the Walt Disney Theater. There's a ton of seating here, so this is actually going to stretch from the 3rd to the 4th deck. The Walt Disney Theater does also have Preludes. So Preludes is going to be the bar and concession stand that's outside of Walt Disney Theater. So you can grab your popcorn, drinks, candy, everything like that over there. That is an additional cost, so just be aware of that, but that's gonna be right outside of the theater. And then if we walk kind of towards midship, this is where we're gonna see our main shopping area. So we have Mickey's Main Sale, which has kind of most of the Disney souvenirs, lots of different Disney Cruise Line merchandise. And then if we move further along, Diamonds and Wishes is going to be across the other way, and that's going to be more of the jewelry, luxury items. And then kind of in the middle here is Sea Treasures. So this is going to be a lot of the Disney Cruise Line specific merchandise. These do get busy, so they will also only be open when we are when you're sailing. So if you're at port, you'll see right now we are. So the shops are not open at this time. We're heading down the port side, and over on this side on the Fantasy, you're going to see Bon Voyage, which is just a small bar area here. So this is a spot that a lot of people will come and grab a drink before they head to dinner. Does have one of my favorite things, which is called the sommelier bin. So when they open a bottle, if it's kind of they have a bottle open, they'll place it in the sommelier bin, and I think it's like $14 or $12, and you can get some really great wine, champagne. So we get brought out over here. This is going to be the atrium. So you see the beautiful chandelier up there, but this is where you're going to actually enter the ship for the first time. You can see this statue of Minnie here. So each Disney ship will have a statue that's specific to the ship, and we have Minnie looking beautiful as always. You can see that there's a piano back here, so this is going to be one of the areas that they will have music played, and again, that Navigator app is going to be the best place to see where all that's going on. Right behind Minnie is going to be the entrance to the Royal Court, This is the second of the main dining room, and this one is going to be more French inspired. It has a lot of the princesses, lots of nods to Beauty and the Beast, Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, and kind of more of the, feel like it's more of the luxury upscale restaurant. If we wrap back around, we are going to be over by guest services. So this is going to be where you can head if you have any questions, you need to make any changes or anything like that. And then also right across the way is also the DVC desk. So if you're a Disney Vacation Club member or you want to learn more about DVC, you can do so right over here. If you do get a photo package while you're on the cruise, you can do that on the Navigator app in advance of your cruise or once you're on. I would recommend doing it before because you do get a little bit of a discount. But there are going to be a bunch of setups for pictures. They'll also have some pictures that are going to be right in front of the stairs here too. So this area does get pretty busy in the evenings. And if you are going to want to get pictures, that includes with the characters, make sure you get there a little bit early. So we're walking down the port side towards the aft, and you can see we're walking past Royal Court. So Royal Court takes up a pretty good amount of the space here, and it's also the restaurant that they normally will have open for breakfast and lunch as well. So with Disney Cruise Line, what's really nice, you don't pay extra for a lot of the food options. So the only things that you'd pay extra for would be if you were going to do Palo or Remy on this ship, and that's going to be the adult dining. Over here in the aft of Deck 3 is going to be our last main dining location, and that is Animator's Palette. Now this one is across most of the ships other than the Wish class. So Animator's Palette really is going to pay homage to animation, of course, and it is going to change a bit throughout your time in the restaurant. So it's a really fun restaurant, but also has one of my favorite things on the menu. Let's see if we can find it here. It is the Percettes. And if you've ever heard anything about the Disney Fantasy or going to Animator's Palette, everyone says for your appetizer you need to get the Percettes. So I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but you'll know what I'm talking about when you see it. Now we made our way up to Deck 4 and we are on the aft side, so this is going to be Europa, and this is our adult section. So that means 18 plus, and in the evening this is going to be more of the 18 plus activities, and this is going to be all the bars pretty much all together. The first one over here is the largest, and that is the Tube. So you'll see a lot of the bigger activities going on here. They'll have the really popular trivia games and things, and they always have this screen going so you can kind of see what's going on in the location. On the starboard side, you have the Skyline Lounge. So this is a fun one because it is going to have these screens in here that will change throughout the time that you're in here, and they have some famous skylines. So right now you can see that Paris is up there, and then the menu that they have is actually inspired by these different locations, so it's a nice one to sit in if you're a martini fan. This is definitely one you need to check out. Past Skyline Lounge is going to be O'Gill's Pub, and this is of course the pub that's on board. So there's a bunch of different beers that are available, some fun gin drinks, and again, this is a spot where you can watch sports, but also going to be a spot that has a lot of different trivia options. So this is kind of the second part of Europa, and there's several more bars here. So Ooh La La is the champagne bar, obviously themed to be like a French champagne bar. We'll try to get in there in a little bit so we can check that out, but this is also going to be one of the spots where they'll do some of the tastings. So if you do a wine tasting or a champagne tasting, it will likely be in this location. And then as we walk through, kind of the central part of this is going to be La Piazza, which is obviously themed to be an Italian space, and this is the other entrance for O'Gill's Pub, so that kind of connects both those sides. And again, this is going to be a popular spot for different activities. Right now it looks like they're doing friendship bracelets, but this will bring us out to the port side, and we'll have another location where they do a lot of the activities. So this section over here, kind of Deck 4 aft, is going to be very popular for the trivia, karaoke, all the kind of activities that they do throughout the sailing. So this is the other lounge area. This is going to be a larger space that they use for the activities. This is the D lounge, so they'll have karaoke in here, a lot of the family events where they can have obviously more space, and also where you'll have your DVC member meetup if you are a DVC member. Carriage Jewels is another jewelry store that's located more midship as we're walking through deck 4 here. And this connects us over to Shutters. So Shutters is going to be the onboard photography, and you can get your pictures taken throughout your trip and then come over here and pick them out, see which ones you'd like to purchase and then order those. Like I said before, there is photo packages available, and you can do those both before you get onto the ship or after. And this is also, if you are watching anything that's going to be taking place in the atrium area here, this is a good spot to watch because it'll get pretty busy down on that third deck, but deck 4 is always a good spot to get a nice bird's eye view. There are a lot of times characters that will come and meet out in this central area here, as well as along some of the areas on deck 4 and 5 around the atrium. So this is a good spot if you're kind of trying to just happen upon from some characters, but you always can also check out that Navigator app for more information. On the forward of deck 4, you'll have the Buena Vista Theater. So this is going to show first run movies. So we can see this is the schedule for this sailing. So we have Freakier Friday that just recently came out. They have the Fantastic Four, Elio, so all different first run movies that you can't really see anywhere else, but on the Disney cruise, so it's kind of fun. And of course, this schedule is listed here, but also listed on the Disney Navigator app. Again, like I mentioned before, there is going to be 2 levels to the Walt Disney Theater. So the Buena Vista Theater is going to kind of wrap down towards where the Walt Disney Theater is on deck 4 here. So you can sit on deck 4 for the Walt Disney Theater or on deck 3. And again, this theater is going to have those Broadway shows, and then the Buena Vista Theater is going to be the movie theater on board. If you exit out onto the jogging track on deck 4, you can actually do 2.5 laps, and that's going to be a mile. So this is fully around the ship, which is nice if you like to get your steps in while you're on board. This is definitely the spot to do it. This is also going to be the area where you can enter Vibe. So Vibe is for 14 to 17 year olds, and this is the first of the youth clubs that we're going to come upon. This one is going to be more about just a space for young teens to hang out. There are a lot of areas for them to play video games and different things rather than having kind of specific activities like the other youth clubs will have for the younger kids. On the starboard side, midship on deck 4, there's also a small cafe called the Vista Cafe, and this is going to be a spot where you can get specialty coffee. There is some alcoholic drinks as well and some little takeaways, but this is a nice one because there is the Cove Cafe, which is located upstairs, but the Vista Cafe is open to anyone. So if you have little ones, you can head over here to grab your coffee, whereas Cove Cafe is the adult only area, so that's not going to be one that you can take the little ones along with you. We've made our way up to deck 5 and we're in midship, so you can look on our starboard side is going to be the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. So this is going to be similar to if you've ever done it with your children at Magic Kingdom or in Disneyland Park. This is going to be a princess makeover, and on Pirate Night, they actually changed this over so that you can do a pirate makeover as well. There are some special costumes here for the little ones. So you could see over there was one that was for Captain Mickey. There's Captain Minnie. But this is something that would need to be booked in advance. So if you do want to do that, definitely make sure to get onto the Navigator app at that time when your booking window will open. If you head towards the forward of the ship on deck 5, you will also be able to get into the Buena Vista Theater. So this is going to be the second level of the movie theater. So lots of different seating here, and you can see, again, what movies are going to be playing at what time.
Approaching the FTL engine.
On the port side of Deck 5, this is also going to be where your Port Adventures desk is. So if you have any questions about the Port Adventures, you want to try to get onto one or anything like that, you can check out the Port Adventures desk there. Deck 5 midship is also going to be where you're going to have the other youth clubs, other than Edge, which is going to be for the older kids. But the first one's going to be It's a Small World Nursery, and this is for the little ones. There is an additional cost for this, very nominal fee to have little ones go there, but it's going to be for 6 months to 3 years old, and it's going to have some areas for them to play, obviously a nursery area, and all of the staff is trained to work with that specific age group. Right next to the It's a Small World Nursery is the Oceaneer Club, and this is going to be for ages 3 to 10. It's going to have a ton of different highly themed areas for kids. This is going to be one where they will have specific activities that take place, but also just some areas for kids to run around, play, and again, super themed. This is a really fun one. I recommend always going to the open house, which will take place on the first day when you get onto the ship. So one, you can kind of share any information you need to with the counselors about your children, but also just to check out the area because it is really cool. As you move towards the aft of the ship, this is where the Oceaneer Lab is going to be. So still same age group, and this is actually connected together with the Oceaneer Club, but has a little bit more open space for play. There is going to be a bunch of different areas, again, for just being creative. And like I said, there is those 3 to 10-year-olds, but even within those age groups, they will be broken up into kind of smaller areas depending on the types of activities that are taking place. This is a kind of fun thing that's on the Fantasy. So Pepe the King Prong, of course, from the Muppets, has his own room here on the Fantasy. And you can actually give him a call if you dial 75148 from your stateroom phone. And there's a bunch of different options that you get, including hearing a joke from him and some advice. So this is really cute to do with the kids. But this one is going to be over on Deck 5 aft. Like I said before, if you ever are looking to see kind of where you are, orient yourself, or try to find something on the ship, they will have these maps as well as the directories by all of the elevator banks. So you can see here too also where there are the laundry facilities. So we have one on Deck 2, we have 6, 7, 8, and then over here on Deck 10, and then again on Deck 8. So there's lots of different options, and there's also a accessible option on Deck 5 where we are right now on the aft, but we're gonna make our way up to Deck 11 because Decks 6 through 10 are going to be all staterooms, and then Deck 11 is where we get our pool deck and a lot of the different other options up there. So Deck 11 is going to be where the buffet is, Cabanas, and they are going to have offerings for breakfast and lunch, and you can always check the times on the Navigator app, but they'll also have them on the screens over here as well. So Deck 11 is going to be where you have your pools. This is going to be Nemo's Reef, and this is for the little ones. It's a splash pad area. And it is, I will say, it's a little rainy here. We're actually on a 7-night Northern Europe cruise, so we just got some rain. So the pool deck is not that busy right now, but it is a bit wet. So you can see some of the main pools that are here on Deck 11, as well as the Aqueduct, which is going to be the main slide area. There's also a slide for the little ones over here, and then also Nemo's Reef that we walked by before. But you can also see funnel vision up here. A little hard right now with the light, but they have Encanto playing, and they have different movies that will play all day. And the pools are open from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Deck 11 is also going to be where you can get your ice cream each day, so they will change out the flavors. So today we have chocolate, vanilla, and the swirl, which they'll always have, but then they'll also usually have something that changes. So they have strawberry and mango right now. This is also going to be where Frozone is. So Frozone is going to be for smoothies and some other specialty drinks that are going to be non-alcoholic mostly. And then around here, as we make our way back to the forward of the ship, this is going to be the adult section. So you have your adult-only pool area, and then you have the Cove Cafe, which is going to be for specialty coffees. And you also have the adult pool and the hot tub, and then a bar here as well. On the other side of the pool, so on the starboard side, is going to be flows. So you'll have Fillmore's Favorites, Tomater's Grill, and what's our last one here? Luigi's. So these are going to be grab and go options that are open throughout the day. Luigi's is going to be pizza, Tomater's is going to be the grill, and then Fillmore's is going to be some salads and some wraps, so some kind of healthier, lighter options that you can get. Deck 11 is also going to have the last of the stores. So this is Who Sits and What Sits, and it's going to be more of the sundries that you can get, plus some goods that you might need for the beach or the pool. There is always sunscreen here, so this is a spot that some people will come to, especially if you've forgotten to pack something that you may need. Deck 12 is where you'll go to Enter Edge, which is going to be the last of the youth clubs, and this is going to be for ages 11 to 14. Again, this has some really cool space just to kind of hang out, less specific activities. There are still going to be some certain activities that take place, but more of a space for teens to just hang out and get to know each other. On deck 12, we also have the Aqua Lab. So this area back here, or forward here, is going to be a really good spot if you have kids that are looking to get some energy out, or if it's a hot day. The Aqua Lab is going to be a water play area, and you can see it is pretty intense. There's lots of different areas to play in, and this is open from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. But always check the times because it may be different on your cruise. Right past the Aqua Lab on deck 13 is where you're going to have Goofy Sports. So this is going to be different sports courts, and behind this is actually going to be the golf simulator, which is something that is a paid activity. You can sign up 4 times, but there also is mini golf that you can play. So this is not going to be something that you need to sign up for or pay for. It's just going to be a small mini golf course that you can play, and there's some fun different pieces of Goofy throughout that you'll see, and within that as well there is some other games like foosball and some different things that you can play on this deck. On deck 11 forward, this is going to be the Senses Spa and Salon, so kind of right off of the adult pool area, and this is going to be a full service salon and spa where you can make your reservations at the time where your booking window opens, and there aren't a lot of different options, so I definitely recommend taking a look and making sure that you make those in advance. This is also going to be where the fitness center is if you're looking to go to one of the classes that they have, or just use the equipment while you're there. There's also a juice bar in the back here as well. Finally, up on deck 12 is going to be the 2 adult dining locations, plus Meridian, which is another bar that's kind of located outside of the adult area, but this, of course, also is going to be adult-specific area. Meridian is going to have beautiful views of the ocean, and then right next door to Meridian is going to be Palo. Palo is the first of the adult dining locations, and this is a favorite that is across the entire fleet of Disney Cruise Line. It has a prix menu, but it also has some a la carte options, and it's definitely a must-do. This is something you want to be sure to get advanced reservations for, and they're going to open up when your onboard booking and Port Adventures bookings open. The second location is going to be Remy, and this of course is based on the movie Ratatouille. It's going to be French and American style food. It does have prix menus that is going to be really the chef's specialties. It's one of the best dining experiences that you can have. I highly recommend it, but it does come with a pretty high price tag. That's going to do it for our tour of the Disney Fantasy. If you have any questions, or if you've sailed on the Disney Fantasy, let us know below, and as always, be sure to hit that subscribe button for more Disney and travel videos. If you'd like complimentary assistance planning your next vacation, be sure to reach out.